Good morning, everyone. This is Vigneshwari, Assistant Professor working in the Department of Biomedical Engineering at KIT Karnataka Institute of Technology. Today, I'm going to deal with the topic of basics of communication. Let me say, communication without any communication system, a world cannot be alive. So let us see what is a communication today and what are the elements which are required for an efficient communication system. So, a communication is nothing but we'll be sharing or transferring an information from one place to another, or we'll be transferring an information from a source to a destination. So, the amount of information what we are sharing from source to destination, that should be an efficient one, it should be a reliable one, and it should be a secure one. So, just like that, a sharing an information will not be an useful one. So, sharing an information should be an efficient one, a reliable one, and a secure one. So we can define a communication system as a process of conveying or sharing an information from a source to a destination. So the information what we are sharing, it should be efficient, reliable, as well as it should be secure. Next, we'll see what is a communication system. So what are the various types of components and what are the various types of subsystems that will act together to transfer one particular information? So a communication is nothing but an electronic system which is meant for transferring an information by using an electric field by means of a signal. Now we'll see what are the basic requirements of a communication system to be very efficient. The first requirement is rate of information transfer. So it is defined as the amount of information or the total content of information that has to be transferred between a source and the destination. What is the total content of information that we are sharing between a source and the destination? So this rate of information transfer can be determined in the physical form, and by using a technique, by following a technique, we can able to transmit and receive an information which can determine the system that in what way it has been designed and constructed. The second important requirement is the purity of a received signal. So just like that, no point in receiving the signal without any errors. So we have to receive a signal without any errors. So when we are transmitting a signal and if we are receiving the signal same as that of your transmitted signal, then the purity of the signal has been attained. So the received signal must be same as that of your original replica of your transmitted signal. Then the third requirement of a communication system is simplicity. So any communication system or any element what we are using in the system, that must be very effective and efficient. So it should not only be effective and efficient, it must be very simple such that the users can conveniently share, the users can conveniently communicate an information between a source and the destination. Next will be the reliability of a communication system. So the users, when they are communicating on a communication system, they must be aware of what information they are going to transmit and what information they are going to receive it. Suppose if they are transmitting a particular information and if they are receiving a particular information, they have to receive an information without any errors. Even if they are receiving some errors during a communication, the error that has been occurred in the communication that should be in an acceptable level. So we cannot communicate with 100% efficiency. So, but we can communicate with 90 to 95% efficiency with the minimum acceptable value of error. So the reliability of the system plays a very important role in efficiency, in deciding the efficiency of a communication system. Next, we'll move on to what are the important requirements and what are the important elements that has been used in a communication system. So definitely we require a message signal. Definitely we require an information to share in the communication system. And the elements, coming to the elements, we require an input transducer, a transmitter, and with the help of a transmission medium only, the communication will be possible. So there may be a possibility of noise that can be added in your communication channel. To receive that information, we require a receiver and an output transducer. So here comes the explanation of each and every blocks of a communication system. So first element will be your input transducer. So the message input, what we are giving it to a transducer, it will be converted into a suitable type. For example, if we are communicating a speech waves, then speech waves can be converted to a voltage variation by using a microphone. So this job will be done by an input transducer. So the output of an input transducer will be given to your transmitter. So what a transmitter will do is, it will fetch the signal from the transducer. It will process that input signal such that it can able to produce a transmitted signal which will suit the characteristics of your signal. So what happens exactly in the transmitter is, for example, it can perform modulation, it can perform coding. So some of the other functions which can perform in the transmitter will be amplification and filtering. If some amount of noise is added in your transmitted signal, that can also be filtered in your transmitter. So the processing of your input signal will be done at your transmitter stage. So next, once the signal goes to your transducer, it will convert that input signal into your suitable form. Then the signal will be processed in your transmitter. Next, from the transmitter, the signal will pass through a channel. We require a channel or a transmission medium to carry that signal to a receiver. So this transmission medium or transmission channel will act as a medium which will bridge the distance from the source to a destination. Some of the examples for your transmission medium will be a free space. A common example for a transmission medium will be a free space. We can also go for coaxial cables, fiber optic cables, or waveguides. So these are some of the examples of a transmission medium by which we can carry out the transmission of a signal. So the performance of a transmission system can also be evaluated by using 5 main categories. One is the capacity of the signal, distance by which we are communicating, then performance of a communication system, security in maintaining the signal efficiency, and the overall cost of the system, which will include installation of a system, operation and maintenance of a system. So the two main categories of a channel will be a line channel and second one will be a free channel. So one will be your, in simple, when we say it will be a wired communication, and second one will be your free space communication. When we talk about a wired communication, then the medium or a channel will be made up of a metallic cable such as a coaxial cable or twisted pair cables or parallel wires. So we will be using some wired medium between the source and the destination. Then talking about the second medium, which is your free space medium, where the transmission of the signal will be carried out by means of the propagation of an electromagnetic waves. So the main applications for free space communication, or the main applications are existing in radio broadcasting of microwaves as well as in the satellite transmission systems. And what happens and what type of losses can exist in the medium of transmission. So every medium, when we are transmitting some information from one medium to another, every medium introduces some amount of noises. So due to that noises, some losses in the communication may exist. Losses, when we are talking about the losses, it is due to attenuation, distortion, and some amount of noise can also be added to your transmitted signal. So we cannot process any signal without any noise. Okay. Next will be a receiver. So once everything has been processed, there may be some amount of noise added to your channel, or 100% of the signal can also be transmitted through a channel. Once when the signal is passing through your channel, it comes to your receiver. So the main role of the receiver is to extract that required desired signal from an output channel, and it has to convert it into a suitable format such that the output transducer will accept the signal. So what type of process a receiver can do is, it can do demodulation, it can do decoding. Some of the other functions which a receiver can do is, it can also perform amplification and filtering. Once the signal is processed, once the signal is extracted, then it has been given to your output transducer. So the output transducer will convert that electrical signal into a desired form. For example, we can also use loudspeakers or PCs or tape recorders to convert that signal. So this is what we have seen in today's class. And tomorrow we'll share some of the important modulation techniques and need for modulation in the next class. Thank you.